The wait felt long, but here I have what will likely be my favorite set of the year. This is set 10327, the LEGO Icons Dune Atreides Royal Ornithopter, which released this February in 2024 for 270 NZD with 1,369 pieces and 8 exclusive minifigures. This is based on Dune Part 1 and releases alongside the highly anticipated release of Dune Part 2. I adore these movies by loving the talent involved, and I love that IP. This was actually a license that LEGO deemed inappropriate by their LEGO Ideas standards, actually proving once again that LEGO will happily change their minds on a whim. The set overview for this beauty is a build of a royal ornithopter as seen in the movie, but the set is actually quite deceiving. Let's just get right into it. The Dune Ornithopter set is actually a Technic set with some traditional bricks that cover the outside. This is something that I think in hindsight should be obvious for me, since they do go so hard into making those features work, but it means that the build experience required very close attention. At one point I did feel like I had messed up a step or two, which caused me to start again in some of the areas, which meant that I did end up building this all throughout the entire runtime on my rewatch of the first film. I love the shaping of the set and the total execution of those figures. That canopy is the only section that includes an actual interior space. We have some printed tiles of the Atreides insignia, and the side doors can open up like a DeLorean. Inside we have a very simple seating arrangement with just 2 seats, which can actually be removed from the cockpit so that you can make seating your minifigures a little bit easier. The controls on the inside here are just 2 simple levers and a printed tile of some switches and some monitors. Both Duke Leto and Liet-Kynes can be seated here and slotted back into the ship in a very simple manner, but unfortunately the ship can only fit 2 figures on the inside and not the 4 that are needed to recreate the scene from the movie. The front of the ship also has these 2 landing feet, which are connected to the back door that can open up to reveal some extra standing room for your figures if you wish. These 3 interactive parts are linked together by a rocket switch, more on that later. You can see the inside section here, it's all just gears and Technic methods. The colors are a bit jarring, yes, with lots of yellows and reds seeping through those greys and blacks, but like I said, this is really a Technic set and it's not a full-fledged Icons display set. This just kind of comes within that territory. I've never built a Technic set before actually, so this was a fresh experience for me, and I both enjoyed my time and felt equally frustrated by the practice. The real shining light of this set are those features that I've been mentioning, so we should just take a look at those right now. There is a rather large spring switch here at the top of the set. This entire section can be moved and rotated, and this will cause the wings to expand. And this is where you will really need a lot of space on your display, because this ends up making the set one of the largest ones that I currently have on my shelves. With the wings folded out, you're looking at around 23 centimeters high, 57 centimeters long, and 79 centimeters wide. It's a lot more than I thought it would be just from the pictures. And it's been really fun to play around with these wings. In the movie, they very quickly retract inwards and commence a dive bomb, and the set does perfectly replicate that provided you can move the switch fast enough. Your hands might get a little in the way because it is a little awkward with how little space you have to work with, but it works nonetheless. The rocket switch that I mentioned earlier is a lot easier to access when the wings have been expanded out. This will bring out the landing gear and the back door. You can rotate it to bring the feet out and then rotate it once more to really lock it into place. That means that the feet can stay in this position permanently and they'll be able to hold on to the weight of the ship. The final feature included in the ship is the back switch here, which can make the wings flap. This feature is appreciated, but it's very minimal in its execution compared to how the others work. Some of the wings react a lot better than the others. If you really want to see it in action, it really does require a very good hard press each time, but again, like the other features that I've mentioned, it does work really well when you've executed the command correctly. I am very impressed with the Dune Ornithopter overall, a set that I think really does come together within the final few steps. I like those Technic builds ultimately, despite fearing for the worst as I went into the build, and I think it does recreate an iconic vehicle from a movie that I adore so much, so of course I was always going to be won over by this. Now let's get into the really appealing feature here, and that's the minifigures of course. We have 8 exclusive minifigures based in this set, figures that I knew would be included, figures that I hoped would be included, and figures that I never once thought would be included. It's a really exciting bunch of figures here, but we start off with who I think is the most important figure to have included, and unfortunately the weakest figure as well. The Paul Atreides likeness just isn't really there for me, unfortunately. I don't see Timothée Chalamet when I see this, and I do think that that is an issue. Paul also uses the Anakin hairpiece, but in black hair, another misstep in my eyes. In these movies, Paul has closer to what I would consider brown hair, and in my eyes, I think that the Dolores Umbridge hairpiece would have worked better for him, which was the design that I used for my thumbnail some months back. It is accurate to the book though. His dress uniform was another surprise actually, because while this isn't accurate to his specific scene in question, it is a different different look and style compared to the other minifigures, and for that, I actually like that inclusion, though again, it's a lot more brighter here in toy form than it is in the movie. A lack of boots is also disappointing because the dual molding green legs and black boots part does already exist, but that does also mean it's just an easy swap on my part. The real reason I'm not up in arms about this figure not looking ideal to me is actually because I kind of see Kyle MacLachlan when I see this figure, and I'm totally fine with that. I can make my own improvements to make him feel more Chalamet accurate at a later date. A double-sided head print to show a more stern expression, clearly the face of someone who is witnessing the future wars in his name. And from here on, it's all pretty impressive stuff. We have Lady Jessica here with her ornate robes, another costume addition that I didn't think we would get, and I'm really happy with the end result. She uses that scary gold plastic that is prone to breaking, so I will have to make sure that I'm regularly moving her arms, because I did have a Snoke minifigure that snapped in half. Rebecca Ferguson likeness is nice. She also includes an alternate hairpiece which is used twice in the set in a slightly different shade, alternate expression as well, which is more in line with her character. Duncan Idaho is next, who is also a really great figure using a hairpiece that I want to say is new, or at least it is new to me. He includes two weapons here, the same knife that Paul included and his longsword. That shirt detailing will be very useful outside of this line, and again, the same lack of dual molding legs issue as Paul. I would have liked to have seen some boots or something here. Jason Momoa's second Lego minifigure includes a double-sided face of a more angered expression, which helps represent a man who is about to give his life defending the air. Gurney Halleck is one of the coolest minifigures included for me, wearing again a brand new outfit compared to the other minifigures. Here he is shown wearing the House Atreides armor. The armor is pretty close to how the still suits appear, but the designs are clearly different, and he also wears a really cool torso armor piece, which I think is the one from the Bad Batch figures. He uses the same sword as Duncan Idaho. The Josh Brolin inclusion also uses a double-sided expression of a more determined and confident look, another standout minifigure inclusion. And now we get three figures that utilize the still suits. The designs are the exact same across all three figures, so if you really wanted to have Paul or Lady Jessica in their own still suits, you can swap over these heads however way you see fit. This is Duke Leto Atreides, who I would have also liked to have seen in the Atreides house armor, but the still suit is still nice to get. Oscar Isaac has now seen his fair share of minifigure inclusions, but I don't think that hairpiece is the right fit for him here. He has a much thicker beard in the movie and some nice grayness in his hair, and the figure doesn't quite capture that for me. Double-sided face though, with a more appropriate look for Oscar Isaac, but maybe not Duke Leto. Chani is so close to being perfect. I love the scarf that she uses, and the Chris knife is a unique inclusion to her in the set, which makes it the third unique blade here. Finally, a Zendaya face print that I think works really well for her, and one of the two figures here to showcase the spiced exposed blue eyes, but I'm not really sold on that hairpiece. I wish we had something a bit more special for her, since her and Jessica use the same piece in the set. She has a double-sided face with her wearing a respirator stillsuit mask, which I also think is really great to see. And here we have Dr. Liet-Kynes, who was a figure that I was really hoping to see because I knew that her details would be very impressive. She has a great hairpiece, and she has a really great tattered cape, and she comes with two maker hooks. It's a great minifigure inclusion, honestly. Double-sided face print to also be showing a stillsuit respirator mask just like Chani, and also showing off the blue eyes. The Sharon Duncan Brewster likeness is a really nice one, and Liet-Kynes is easily one of my favorite inclusions here. And now we have the elephant in the room that everyone has been talking about. This is the Baron Harkonnen figure, who uses an incredibly special cape piece to make his incredibly long gown. He also comes included on a stand here to have him floating above everyone. He looks great and weird and just an excellent inclusion. The cape is attached like a regular cape that goes around the neck peg. The Skarsgård likeness is also really nice to see, and this is, I believe, now his third minifigure to release, and in such a short time as well. Underneath that cape is a plain black torso and black legs. There's no special printing underneath. The box art for this set is the standard 18+ Icons black background with the logo up in the corner stating that this is the Atreides Royal Ornithopter, and we can see the Technic base set on the front here as well. We also have an image of all of our minifigures at the top of the box, and on the side we have the set with the wings folded out in mid-flight. The back of the box shows us some images of the set and the special features. We have some reference material of the Ornithopter itself, images of the cockpit and how to access that interior, images of the back of the ship and how to open the back door, images of the wings and the direction that they can move in, and an image of how to make the wings flap. And a final look here of the set all built up with our minifigures here as well. The instructions for the set feature a plain white background with a new shot of the set. We have a page dedicated to information about Dune and the Ornithopter here, and then we have some source material on the other side of the ship from the movie. The next page features a 2-page spread of the figures included with a small description on each character. On the first page here we have Paul Atreides, Liet-Kynes, Leto Atreides, and Lady Jessica, and on the other side here we have Gurney Halleck, Chani, Duncan Idaho, and Baron Harkonnen. The next page features some more source material artwork and followed by a quick word from the design team who made us this beautiful icon set that we just looked at. From then on, this is a standard LEGO instruction manual with a little Paul Atreides walking along the bottom of the page there. The back of the instructions feature many images of how to make those play features work, and then finally the inventory list at the very end. That is the LEGO Icons Dune Atreides Royal Ornithopter, a set that I really loved despite the fears that I had going in. The design does look great at representing a movie that I adore so much, and the minifigure inclusions are excellent additions to my sci-fi displays. I have to assume that this is going to be a one and done set, given that we received so many minifigure inclusions, and I have to say it's a pretty excellent set on that basis alone. This is going to probably be one of my standout favorites of the year, definitely. If you enjoyed this look at a LEGO Icons 2024 set, liking this video and subscribing to the channel does help to support us in making more videos like this one. Ka kite anō.